Have you ever wondered where the story of Santa Claus originated? Before we get started, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to know when Motivate and Inspire load another video. Now, let's get started on finding out how Santa Claus really started. Our journey begins in the late 3rd century, in a village known as Patara. Today, that village is nestled within the borders of modern-day Turkey. It was here that a boy named Nicholas was born into a life of privilege. His parents, both wealthy and deeply devout Christians, nurtured in him a strong faith from a young age. But life is unpredictable, and Nicholas's world was turned upside down when he lost his parents at a tender age. This tragedy could have easily led young Nicholas down a path of despair, but instead, it sparked in him an extraordinary resolve. He decided to use the wealth he had inherited, not for his personal gain but to aid those in need. The poor, the sick, the suffering. They became the focus of his charitable endeavors. Saint Nicholas, as he would later become known, was particularly known for his generosity towards children. From saving 3 sisters from being sold into slavery by providing them with dowries, to resurrecting 3 children who were murdered by a malevolent innkeeper, Saint Nicholas became a beacon of hope and kindness. His acts of charity, his love for children, and his commitment to the Christian faith didn't go unnoticed. This dedicated man of faith ultimately became the Bishop of Myra, and after his death, he was canonized as a saint, celebrated for his benevolence and kindness. In a world often marred by suffering, Saint Nicholas stood as a testament to the power of compassion and generosity. His story resonates through the centuries, reminding us that one person can indeed make a difference. His story, his life, his acts of kindness, all laid the groundwork for a character we've come to know and love. A character who brings joy to children around the world, who symbolizes the spirit of giving, and who reminds us of the magic of the holiday season. Saint Nicholas dedicated his life to serving others, setting a precedent for the Santa Claus we know today. Saint Nicholas wasn't just known for his generosity, but also for his miracles. Let's delve into some of the miraculous tales that have been passed down through generations, making Saint Nicholas a figure of reverence and awe. One of the most well-known miracles is the tale of the 3 poor sisters. In a time of desperation, their father, with no dowry to offer, considered selling them into slavery. But Saint Nicholas, upon hearing of their plight, tossed bags of gold through their window on 3 consecutive nights, thus saving the girls from a grim fate. Saint Nicholas was not just a savior on land, but also at sea. There's a legend that tells of a fierce storm threatening to sink a ship. The terrified sailors prayed to Saint Nicholas, and lo and behold, he appeared before them, calming the storm and guiding them safely to the shore. This miracle cemented his status as the patron saint of sailors. Perhaps one of the most chilling tales is that of the resurrection of 3 boys. The story goes that an innkeeper had murdered 3 boys and pickled their bodies to sell as pork during a famine. Saint Nicholas, stopping at the inn, saw through the heinous crime and resurrected the boys, bringing them back to life. This extraordinary miracle made him the patron saint of children. These are but a few of the countless miracles and legends attributed to Saint Nicholas. Each tale is a testament to his kindness, bravery, and the unwavering faith people had in him. He was more than just a bishop with a heart of gold. He was a beacon of hope, a miracle worker, and a protector of the vulnerable. These miracles and legends didn't just make him popular during his time, but they've had a lasting impact, shaping how we view Saint Nicholas today. They've elevated him from a generous bishop to a revered saint, a figure who embodies the spirit of selfless giving, kindness, and miracles. These miracles and legends elevated Saint Nicholas from a generous bishop to a revered saint. How did Saint Nicholas transition into the figure we know as Santa Claus? Well, as with many historical figures, the transition wasn't overnight, and it wasn't without its share of twists and turns. In the wake of the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century, the veneration of saints like Nicholas fell out of favor in many parts of Europe. However, the Dutch held on to their affection for the kind bishop and continued to celebrate his feast day on the 6th of December. The tradition was so deeply rooted in Dutch culture that it survived these religious changes. Saint Nicholas, or Sinterklaas, as he was known in the Dutch language, was portrayed as a bearded bishop, arriving on a horse to help the needy. Children would leave their shoes out the night before his feast day, hoping that Sinterklaas would leave gifts or treats for them. This tradition was a nod to the benevolent nature of the real Saint Nicholas, who was known for his generous gifts to the poor. When Dutch immigrants started arriving in America during the 17th century, they brought with them their beloved tradition of Santa Claus. The English-speaking settlers found the Dutch customs fascinating and began to incorporate them into their own celebrations. Over time, the Dutch Sinterklaas was anglicized to Santa Claus, and his feast day slowly moved from the 6th of December to Christmas Day. The transformation wasn't always smooth, and there were periods when the celebration of Santa Claus was suppressed. Yet the image of a jolly, gift-giving figure was so appealing that it endured. The Dutch Sinterklaas, with his bishop's attire and horse, gradually evolved into the red-suited, reindeer-driven Santa Claus we know today. Even the tradition of leaving shoes out transformed into the hanging of Christmas stockings. The transformation from St. Nicholas to Sinterklaas marked a significant evolution in the story of Santa Claus. An evolution that took centuries and crossed oceans, but at its heart still carries the spirit of kindness and generosity of the original St. Nicholas. The Santa Claus we know today took shape in the 19th century. This era was a pivotal time, where the magic of storytelling and the power of visuals intertwined to create the jolly, gift-bearing figure we've come to adore. The American writers and artists of this time played a crucial role in shaping the modern image of Santa Claus. Let's delve into this fascinating journey. Imagine it's the year 1822, and a man named Clement Clark Moore pens a poem for his children. This poem, titled A Visit from St. Nicholas, is better known today as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Moore's vivid descriptions painted a picture of Santa Claus like none before. Here was a jolly old elf, with a twinkle in his eye and a round belly that shook when he laughed. This Santa drove a miniature sleigh pulled by 8 tiny reindeer, slipping down chimneys to fill stockings with gifts. But the image of Santa Claus didn't stop evolving there. Enter Thomas Nast, a renowned political cartoonist who, in the 1860s, began to illustrate this character in Harper's Weekly. Nast's Santa was a plump, cheerful man with a full white beard, donning a suit trimmed with fur and a broad belt. He was seen checking his list of good children, living at the North Pole, and even receiving letters from hopeful kids. These illustrations further popularized and solidified the image of Santa Claus. Moore's words and Nast's artistry worked in harmony, crafting a persona that was jolly, chubby, and bearded, spreading joy and delivering gifts to children on Christmas Eve. Santa Claus's evolution didn't happen overnight. It was the result of creative minds capturing the spirit of the season and translating it into a figure that embodied generosity and merriment. The 19th century may have been the birthplace of our modern Santa, but the magic and joy he represents are timeless, transcending generations. The modern Santa Claus, a symbol of joy and generosity, was born out of these creative efforts. Santa Claus is more than just a holiday figure. The impact of Santa Claus on our culture and society is profound and widespread. He's not just a jolly old man in a red suit who brings gifts, he's a symbol of something much greater. Santa Claus embodies the spirit of giving and kindness. This spirit transcends all cultures, all societies, all ages. It is a spirit that brings joy, not just to children eagerly waiting for their presents under the Christmas tree, but to adults too. Santa Claus teaches us the joy of giving without expecting anything in return, of spreading cheer and warmth in the cold winter months, of bringing a smile to someone's face with a simple act of kindness. This spirit of giving is not confined to the festive season. It permeates our lives throughout the year, reminding us to be kind, to be generous, to be thoughtful. Whether it's donating to a charity, helping a neighbor, or just paying a compliment to a stranger, we are all capable of embodying the spirit of Santa Claus in our daily lives. Santa Claus is also a global phenomenon, recognized and loved by millions around the world. He transcends cultural and geographical boundaries, uniting us in a shared tradition of celebration and giving. From the snowy landscapes of the North Pole to the sunny beaches of Australia, from the bustling cities of America to the quiet villages of Europe, Santa Claus is a universal symbol of joy and goodwill. His story, born from the life of St. Nicholas, has evolved over centuries, adapting to different cultures and times. But the core values that Santa Claus represents remain the same: love, generosity, and the magic of giving. These values are timeless, transcending generations and cultures, reminding us of the goodness that resides in all of us. Santa Claus, born from the life of St. Nicholas, represents the timeless values of love, generosity, and the magic of giving. And as we celebrate the festive season, let's take a moment to remember and embrace these values, to keep the spirit of Santa Claus alive, not just in our homes, but in our hearts too.